Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. It is Sunday night, January 4th, 2026. You see what happened on the 911 call to Capitol Hill. I've been calling 911 on Capitol Hill since 2021. I believe late 2021, I started calling 911 on Capitol Hill, and they would give me the runaround, as you heard earlier, call Homeland Security, call the FBI, call somebody else. I've called every law enforcement agency across this country for 1,578 days. I have put in for federal casework with Marjorie Taylor Greene, Tom Cole, James Langford, Mark Wayne Mullins, Lauren Boebert, Darrell Issa, Nancy Pelosi, Ro Khanna, Robert Garcia, Mike Johnson, Tim Burchett, numerous others, and nothing. I get nothing. Reporting child sex trafficking in the United States to the United States government is like reporting a murder to the mafia. Yeah, you can imagine how that would go. So what we're going to do tonight, I've done just a little bit of research because there's so much information on this stuff that's already been out there. Everyone already knows about this stuff. We've gone over this for decades. We really have. And I think we the people are sick of the abuse to our children. We're sick of the rape of our children. We're sick of the kidnapping of our children. We are sick of the sale of our children. And we're sick of the government sitting here saying that's not happening. Nobody's doing that. So let's start with Pizzagate. Pizzagate was a lie. That's what they say. Pizzagate was a lie. But Cabot Phillips has a tattoo of pizza on the inside of his lip. So if Pizzagate's a lie, why does Cabot Phillips of Turning Point USA have a tattoo of pizza on the inside of his lip? If Pizzagate's not code for child abuse or sex material, why is it a lie? And guess who debunked Pizzagate? Are you ready for these fine publications? These are the top-notch publications who decided that Pizzagate was a lie, it was a hoax, it was a conspiracy theory. Remember those words, hoax and conspiracy theory. So Pizzagate was debunked, we use that term loosely, debunked, by the Associated Press, the New York Times, the Washington Post, and PolitiFact. Now, we know what kind of publications those are. We know what you get from there. You're not going to get the truth. You're going to get what's called the mainstream narrative. The mainstream narrative is what they want you to believe, what they want you to know. It's not the truth. It's nowhere near the truth. So Pizzagate was a lie, and it's been debunked by New York Times, Associated Press, Washington Post, and PolitiFact. Now, if you believe that, I've got some oceanfront property right here in Oklahoma. It's got a nice view of the Pacific Ocean, and I'll sell it to you for $1. $1. Okay. Now, we remember the term hoax. The President of the United States of America said Epstein was a hoax. The Epstein files were a hoax. More than 1,000 victims of children who were raped are a hoax. 5.2 million documents just released are a hoax. 300 terabytes of information are a hoax. Video of the FBI on Epstein Island and his New York mansion wheeling out troves of evidence, boxes and boxes and boxes of CDs, DVDs, files, folders, passports, safes. All of that is a hoax. It's all a hoax. All the videos you've seen of the FBI wheeling out boxes of evidence, that's a hoax. That's just a hoax. The young women who were raped when they were 13, 14, and 15 years old, who were standing on the Capitol steps telling their stories, they're just Democratic hoaxes. Democrat hoax. Now, from there, we're going to go into Erica Kirk. Miss Glamming Griever, if I've ever seen one. What a glamorous griever she is. She's so glamorous when she grieves. How she just sparkles and smiles. I've never seen anyone so happy to grieve. She's the glamorous griever, Erica Kirk. Romanian Angels, that's a hoax. That didn't happen. She's not banned from Romania. She wasn't selling kids to the military with the Colonel Otto Buscher, That's all fake. Despite the Romanian news, despite the pictures, despite the videos, despite Erica Kirk claiming at 17 years old she's running an orphanage in Romania and making money with the U.S. military. So Erica Kirk is running an orphanage, dealing with kids at 17 years old, and the U.S. military, a Colonel Otto Buscher. We're not talking about a staff sergeant. We're not talking about a drill sergeant. We're talking about a full-fledged colonel. When you've got ties and connections at 17 years old to a colonel in the military, and they're not related to you, you're involved in something much larger than we know about. That's for sure. So, and like I said, this is just a short video. This is just to go over from Pizzagate to the Epstein files to Erica Kirk. Hoax, hoax, hoax. Hoax, hoax, hoax. And that's all these people say. That's all, the whole reason I started this channel was I'm sick of being lied to. I'm really sick of my government lying to me about my own child. My own child. I saw I got photos of the physical injuries resulting from the violent sexual assault by State Judge Kelly Hansen. I was there when Kelly Hansen kidnapped my son. I was standing there when it happened. There was nothing I could do about it because he's a judge. What are you supposed to do when a judge legally kidnaps your son? Criminally kidnaps your son. Because I know the law. State Code 278 of California state law clearly states malicious removal of a child from a custodial party to a non-custodial party is child abduction. I've got the court transcripts where Kelly Hansen said, Mr. Bass, because of what you said, I'm taking your son today. That is malicious removal of a child. And he said, I'm taking your son. And then he stuck his dick in my son's mouth, causing physical injuries that I have photos of. 7 years old my son was. 7. He would be 12 now if he's still alive. Is he alive? I have no clue. Couldn't tell you. Haven't seen or heard from him since 2021. And I think that says it all in itself. If everything is on the up and up, and the judge didn't stick his dick in my son, and the judge didn't kidnap my son, why haven't I heard from my son since 2021? Why? I don't know if he's alive. As far as I know, he could be up at the White House getting raped by some of our fine Congress members. We know we have pedophiles on Pedophile Hill. That's why it's called Pedophile Hill. The President of the United States of America is a pedophile. Everybody knows that. Matt Gaetz, pedophile. He pays children for sex. He pays little girls who need braces to have sex with him. That is our fine public servants of the United States of America. Now, that all being said, this is day 1578 of this. I'm going to keep reporting on the truth. I will get into more stories, but the whole purpose of this channel, I got a couple of purposes. The first is the truth. That's first and foremost, the truth. Sick of the lies, sick of the nonsense, and I think we as a whole are all sick of it. That's why Candace Owens is doing so good on her podcast. That's why Baron Coleman is doing so good, Coach Colin. And all it takes is one lie, one slip up, like Gary at Paramount, done. Valhalla, done. And speaking of these YouTubers and podcasters, we got some feds in here. Let's make no mistake about it. Tim Pool, he's a fed. That's a fact. He's paid by the federal government to push their narrative. Because the federal government sees that we're not watching Fox News, ABC, NBC, CBS. We're not watching those anymore. They see we're watching YouTube. So the government is going to plant people in YouTube, again, for psychological manipulation. PSYOPs. Everybody knows this. Tim Pool, federally paid PSYOP. Nick Fuentes, federally paid PSYOP. That's fact. There's only a few people telling the truth. Lionel Nation tells the truth. Candace Owens tells the truth. Baron Coleman tells the truth. Coach Colin tells the truth. Mr. Letgo tells the truth. The rest of these hacks, Gary at Paramount, put him on the TPUSA payroll. He is, I mean, gung-ho for TPUSA. And him and Valhalla, Nate at Valhalla, I find it ironic that Mitch Snow went on to a military base, Fort Huachuca, reported what he saw when he was there to Candace Owens. Candace Owens vetted it very thoroughly because Candace dots every I and crosses every T. She don't mess around. Candace is very intelligent. The fact that she vetted him, found it credible enough to put on her podcast, risk her reputation, and then Valhalla and Gary at Paramount, who are both ex-military guys, are defending the military who had a hand in the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Everybody knows the military played a part. Everybody knows it. Otherwise, Fort Huachuca wouldn't even be talked about. It wouldn't be that big of a deal. The fact that Mitch Snow came out at Fort Huachuca and Gary and Valhalla were all over it. Oh, he's crazy. He's a wife beater. What about these charges and that charges? Come on, guys. Come on. This has got to stop. The nonsense. I mean, the Kabuki Theater. I went through a show today with all the actors of the government. All the RFKs, the Pete Hegseths, the Sean Duffy and Rachel Campos. Sean Duffy and Rachel Campos, both from the Real World MTV. Let me repeat that. Fox News host and the Secretary of Transportation were on Real World MTV. Think about that for a minute. If anybody remembers the Real World, why don't we just nominate Puck? Do you remember Puck from the Real World? The bike messenger who collected scabs in a jar? Why don't we just nominate Puck for Speaker of the House? He can bring his jar of scabs from being a bike messenger and tell us how we're all dumber than he is and we need him. We need him. This is what our government does. They steal our money, they steal our children, they rape our children, and then they get in front of a camera and say how we need them. We need to give them more money. We need to give them more respect. We need to give them our time. We need to give them our attention. What we need to give them is a swift kick in the ass out of their jobs because they work for us. We, the people, are our own government, whether they like it or not. These megalomaniacs have lost control of their ego. They have lost control of their minds, and they are completely obsessed with power to the point where they have lost touch with reality. That's the truth of it. These people have lost absolute touch with reality, and they get in front of a camera and tell us our lives are great. Groceries are cheap. Housing is fine. Rent's low. Your electric bill is cheap. It's affordable. Come on, people. Come on. I thank you for tuning in. I hope you will like, subscribe, and share this channel. We just started it. The only reason I started it, the truth, and to stand up for these kids. I'm sick of watching people abuse kids and lie about it. I'm sick of watching politicians, law enforcement, and rich people abuse children and lie about it and get away with it by paying a few dollars. I'm sick of it. Pete Hegseth, accused of rape, paid money. Donald Trump, accused of rape, paid money. These people have to stop this. Money should not be involved in justice. Justice is about accountability for one's actions. That's what justice is. You commit an action against the law, you are held accountable, regardless of financial status. But that's not the case here in America. Jail is for poor people, settlements are for rich people. So again, please like, subscribe, and share. I'm Walter Bass. Thank you for your time.